It is a beautiful day in the Tampa Bay. Driving to Tampa. I live at least 45 minutes during the workday. 45-minute trip over the Howard Franklin Bridge. Some amazing water, some amazing fishing, but not so amazing for the morning commute. But something I just want to discuss, something I've been thinking about quite a bit, is self-doubt and fighting self-doubt. I don't know if you've ever, if you've been wrestling through that. Maybe it's something that, maybe it's a journey you've set out on. Maybe a career decision. You decided to go in a certain direction, and you've been headed that direction for several years, and maybe it just doesn't seem to be going the way that you thought it was going to go. I think we all go through that. We start doubting, is this really something that I'm supposed to do? Is this something that, that maybe I'm just not cut out for? You're not alone in that feeling. That's certainly something that I've felt quite often. And one of those things that I think that is a natural feeling for any of us who especially have taken a step of faith and seeking to chase after something that seems bigger than ourselves. When you think about it, it's first of all, one of the things about that is that's a natural thing for those who are born again believers. When we set out to do something, when we believe that God's called us to go somewhere by faith, we do take on something that is bigger than ourselves. When you think about that, for example, Peter stepping out of the boat. We've all heard that story, and we love that about Peter, that he wasn't afraid to get out of the boat. But when you step out of the boat at any time in your life or career, that is one of those things that is going to breed self-doubt, especially when we start looking back at ourselves. And I think really that's the main solution and the help for self-doubt, is to realize that we do have every reason to doubt ourselves. I mean, we are weak, we are frail, we are powerless. We don't always have the gifts we need. We don't always have the resources we need. But God is the God of the impossible. And that's why when we set out for things, whether it's a career change, or whether it's a ministry, or whether it's to get married or to have kids, or these big decisions that we face in life, that's why it's so vitally important that we seek the Lord's direction, and we really truly believe that it is God's will to do that. So think about that for a second. When we step out by faith, it is by faith. We don't know the end of the story. We don't know how it's all going to go. We just believe that it is God leading us in that direction. So maybe you're 2 years, 3 years, 5, 7, 8, 10 years down the road. When you start looking back at yourself, that's when everything's going to feel like nothing is going right, because God's power is made perfect in weakness. A lot of times our self-doubt is actually a healthy thing, and we need to get our eyes off of ourselves and back on Jesus. When we're walking with Jesus, we walk by faith and not by sight, so we don't always see exactly what it is that God is doing. That's one of the things that I love about the story of Joseph, and most of the stories of the Old Testament, is we get to look back and see what God was doing. We can see in the stories how God is in control of the future, that God knows everything about the future. But when we're in the moment, when we are in that situation where things seem to be going wrong, we tend to not believe that God is in control of the future. Joseph was that guy who had the dreams at a young age. He knew all about kind of the future. He kind of had a good idea of where God was going to take him, but he had no idea about the rough ride that he was going to be on for so long. So I just want to encourage you today, if you're struggling with self-doubt, and I say this to myself as well, maybe take your eyes off of yourself and put your eyes back on Jesus, because God, the Lord Jesus Christ, He is up to something, and He knows the future. He knows everything about your life. He knows everything about where you've been. He knows everything. He sees the depths of your heart, and He is leading you. He is guiding your life. Those big steps of faith that you've taken, they're not in vain. There hasn't been a wasted moment. God doesn't share, He doesn't shed any expense in getting you to that place. A lot of times our heart is the preparation that He needs to make before He can break through that next barrier that seems to be holding you back from where God's taking you. So keep your eyes on Jesus today, and don't think so much about yourself. Think more about Him. We are incapable, but God is capable. We don't have the power to do the impossible, but God, with Him, all things are possible. So lift your eyes up above the waves. Maybe you're in a storm right now. Maybe you're just feeling the waves of the storms crashing over you. Learn to surf the waves. Instead of hiding under the bow of the boat, get up on the front and ride the waves and enjoy the journey. Enjoy the moment. Maybe a time of getting rocked a little bit. But hey, learn to roll with the waves today. So God bless you. I hope this is an encouragement to you.